And I think you're right. I think this is such a disaster because Donald Trump, first of all, it'd be very difficult at this point, even if he wanted to just stop the thing, which I think he does at this point, want to stop the thing. I think it seems to me like he believed this could be quick and easy like Venezuela, and we're way past that at this point. But he can't just stop now. But obviously, there's the Iranians and the Israelis are involved in this too, and it doesn't seem like either of them want.
Yeah, if he just stopped right now, it would be a bad look. Like, okay, you just basically did this for nothing. So you're kind of you're stuck on an island now. Now you have to go. Let's keep it going.
Stop right now. No. So there you got a big problem. But also, look, this isn't Venezuela. There's I don't know what the latest CENTCOM numbers are. I thought 13 dead Americans was the last I saw. The 150 plus wounded number came out weeks ago. I don't know what that's up to now. Our bases and in the region have been very badly damaged. The damage to the global economy is so it's not Venezuela. You can't just come out of this and then pretend something really great happened. If he stops right now, then it's like, oh, you just started a disaster for no reason on behalf of a foreign country. Like, this is just awful. And then there's a couple factors. I've seen this play. I know you've seen this over the years, certainly during the global war on terrorism, where there is, I guess, what you could call like the sunk cost fallacy of war, which is the worst of all sunk cost fallacies. But it's you go, well, those boys died for nothing if we don't finish the job. And it's like, oh man, is that a bad trap to get into? Because the reality is that those boys died for nothing. That's over. And if you continue this, more boys will die for nothing.
That's correct.
And so no one, Pierce Morgan had a panel once, or a debate between Scott Horton, who is as you know, you've had him on the show, the most incredible foreign policy guy in the country, like just unbelievable levels of brilliance. And his books, Enough Already, Fool's Errand, which are about the global war on terrorism, are the best books written on the subject. His book Provoked about the war in Ukraine is the best book written on the subject.
They're literally exhaustive. I only know Scott Horton because of you and what improvement to my life.
Yeah, I mean, he has been such an incredible resource. Like, he's a great friend of mine, one of my closest friends, but he's also he's like my mentor in the foreign policy stuff. And he's just so great because he's such a tool because he's got a photographic memory. So like, I can literally just call him at any point and you'll just be like, when Iran invaded Iraq in 1980, in 1982, weren't they fighting here? And then he'll just be like, yeah, they were fighting here and here. And then this guy has all their names and everything. It's really incredible. But so he was debating Wesley Clark on Pierce Morgan's show. Talk about the new media world that we live in and how crazy it is now that Scott Horton gets to square off with the 4-star general. And Wesley Clark, who, look, I have my issues with him, but he did give us that great admission about the 7 countries in 5 years. So I'll always kind of be grateful to him. Now he tries to walk that back, but we all heard what you said. But he goes at one point talking about, I believe it was Gaza, if I'm getting this correct. He said this was while it was still, intensely going on. And he goes, but if we just leave now, then Hamas gets to say they won. And you're like, sir, general, that's your opinion on war? Yeah. But that's a recipe to be in forever war always. We can't ever leave anywhere so what happens is you get this thing where it's like, there's the sunk cost fallacy. We can't leave now because we have to win. And then Donald Trump is now, of course, he put his entire presidency on the line for this, which was really foolish. And
he definitely did that because he's going to lose the midterm. They're going to get washed in the midterms. And he's basically just going to be a lame duck president from that point on. So, yeah, he's correct on that.
So now he's got to get a win. Let me get a win, and then I can get out, So let's do a big thing. But then you do a big thing and they respond with a big thing. And then you go, shoot, now we got to respond to that thing. And this is the escalation trap, right? Like that. And this was what people like me and you have been talking about for years. And all the war hawks in the country really enjoyed mocking me and you for the last 7 months or whatever it's been from between the 12-day war and this latest war in Iran, going, oh, you guys were acting like this was going to be a disaster. And look, it wasn't a disaster. Okay, we're back in it now, and it's a disaster. And precisely 0 of those people are going, oh, I guess I was wrong about that.
No, they'll be clamoring for you to be arrested and imprisoned.
Yeah.
Of course, right. Because, your existence is a mark of shame because you remember, right?
Yeah.
So anyone who remembers has to be taken off the board. I'm just interested, I never think about, those people, the Mark Levin. I say a prayer for Mark Levin every day because it's my religion. I'm supposed to. But he's not. I mean, Mark Levin's an idiot. He's not pulling any strings. He's a tool of larger forces here. What I'm fascinated by are the assumptions that like ordinary non-Mark Levin Americans have about the United States, the nature of power, history, that allowed us to make the greatest mistake of my lifetime, which is this war. What are those? And a lot of this has to do with the Second World War.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we're reading the wrong lessons into that. And I just want to say for the 100th time, I'm the opposite of pro-Nazi. I'm against authoritarianism in all its forms. But why is it that we look at the Second World War and then make a bunch of false assumptions that get us into engagements like this that hurt us?
Well,
what is that? What are the myths?
Well, I think the way I look at it, right, and this is, I've defended Darryl Cooper quite publicly, quite often for what he said on your show, which really, it was, by the way, it's so revealing and totally proves his point, the response to that. Because there's just no reason why that should have been such a huge thing, but like the thing is that
hey, Darryl Cooper, did Hitler kill a lot of Jews? Yeah, he did. He did like hours of podcasts on it.
Yes.
Of course Hitler killed a lot of Jews. I mean, what? That's not even
He just put out episode 2 of his new series on World War II, which I have not. I heard the first one. I've not gotten a chance to listen to the second one yet. But the first one's so good. They're all so good.
It's not really about that. I don't think any sane person, I've never heard anybody in my life say Hitler didn't kill a ton of Jews or Hitler like loved the Jews. No, Hitler hated the Jews, killed a ton of Jews.
He's completely lying on that part right there. He just talked to Nick Fuentes like fucking, I don't know, a few months ago. And Nick was saying that they didn't kill anybody. So he's lying about that right there. Okay, well, I'm going to end it there. And, pretty much Dave is saying that, basically Trump can't get out. I mean, he's pretty much stuck. And when midterms come up, he's going to be a lame duck president right after that. So let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and follow. Peace.